You'd think a chocolate egg with a tiny toy inside would be the perfect treat for kids, right? Not in the United States. Kinder Surprise eggs, those iconic hollow chocolate eggs with a surprise toy capsule tucked inside, have been banned in the United States for decades. The reason? It's not the sugar, it's the toy. According to a federal law from way back in 1938, it's illegal to have any non-edible object completely enclosed in a food item. The idea is to prevent choking risks, especially for small children. So technically, the issue isn't with the chocolate or the toy, it's the combination of both. Meanwhile, in Europe, Kinder Surprise eggs are everywhere. They're a staple at checkout lines, birthday parties, and even in advent calendars. Funny enough, the ban has made them even more desirable in the United States. People literally try to sneak them in like they're some sort of forbidden luxury. It's kind of like how you always want what you can't have. The forbidden treat just hits different. If you're heading to Singapore with a pack of gum in your pocket, think twice. In this ultra-clean city-state, chewing gum isn't just frowned upon, it's practically treated like contraband. Since the early 1990s, selling gum without a medical reason has been illegal. This came after gum was being stuck on train doors, causing them to malfunction, which sounds minor, until the entire subway system grinds to a halt. That's when Singapore said, nope, that's it. Today, unless it's therapeutic gum from a pharmacy, gum is banned from sale. Spitting one on the sidewalk? Expect a serious fine. This law became world famous and turned into one of Singapore's most bizarre tourist trivia points. Yet it reflects the country's obsession with order and discipline. There's no bubble popping in school, no chewed up wads stuck under desks, just spotless streets and fully functioning metro doors. In a place where jaywalking gets you fined, gum didn't stand a chance. Now let's head to a country where not even a ketchup-free hot dog survives. In North Korea, hot dogs have been banned, not for health reasons but for ideological ones. The government reportedly sees the hot dog as a symbol of Western culture, especially American fast food influence. And in a nation where almost everything foreign is filtered or forbidden, something as innocent as a sausage in a bun gets caught in the crossfire. Local vendors who once tried to serve street food with even a hint of Western styling were forced to shut down. Even slang nicknames like American sausage have disappeared. The ban's not just about food, it's about image. North Korea wants to avoid any association with pop culture imports. You won't find mustard-drenched snacks on a Pyongyang street. It's not just hot dogs. Any fast food item with a Western look is quietly removed from view. The entire idea of fast food clashes with their state-driven identity. You can get a Coca-Cola in almost every country on Earth, from vending machines in the desert to remote airports in the Arctic, but not in Cuba. This isn't about health, sugar, or caffeine. It's all political. After the Cuban Revolution in the 1960s, the US imposed a strict trade embargo. American companies packed up, including Coca-Cola. So while the rest of the world sips on the world's most iconic soda, Cuba has remained Coke-free for decades. You won't see the signature red can in Havana corner stores, and don't expect a Coke with your sandwich at a local cafe. Instead, the country developed its own colas, brands that fill the gap even if they don't quite hit the same. Ironically, that absence made Coca-Cola more legendary in Cuba, a symbol of something just out of reach. It's not illegal for locals to drink it, but good luck finding the real thing unless it was smuggled in or brought by tourists. They may look like harmless little candies, but in some parts of Europe, Skittles aren't welcome. Austria and Norway banned certain versions of Skittles over the food dyes used to color them, like Yellow 5 and Red 40. These artificial colors have been linked to behavioral issues in children, leading some countries to either ban them outright or slap on heavy warning labels. In the US, these colors are still in widespread use, but European regulators play it safer. So in Austria and Norway, if you want something fruity and colorful, it won't come in a bright red Skittles bag. What's interesting is that the ban doesn't mean people there don't like candy. They just want it without the controversial extras. Skittles has since made dye-free versions for certain markets, but the originals with those vibrant hues, still off the shelves. For a snack that tells you to taste the rainbow, that rainbow had a few too many colors for some countries. It might sound old-fashioned, but raw milk, the kind that hasn't been pasteurized, is at the center of a modern food debate. In Canada, selling raw milk is completely banned, and in the US, it's a legal patchwork. Some states allow it, others ban it entirely. Pasteurization, the process of heating milk to kill bacteria, has been the standard for safety for over a century. Supporters of raw milk say it's more natural, richer in nutrients, and even better tasting. Critics argue the risks outweigh the benefits, including potential exposure to harmful bacteria. That tension between tradition and safety has made raw milk something of a rebellion drink for niche foodies. In Canada, underground raw milk clubs exist, passing jars like secret treasure, and in some US states, you'll find it sold as pet food to get around laws. A glass of milk may seem simple, but depending on where you live, it might come with a warning label, or a fine. You can walk into a McDonald's in Mumbai or Delhi, but you won't find a Big Mac on the menu. That's because beef is off limits in most of India, where cows are considered sacred in Hinduism, the dominant religion. Slaughtering a cow is illegal in many states, so fast food giants had to reinvent themselves. The classic Big Mac, replaced with the Chicken Maharaja Mac, stacked high with spicy chicken patties and Indian-style sauces. There's even a vegetarian version made with paneer cheese. It's McDonald's, but through a distinctly local lens. The shift isn't just about religion, it's also about market demand. Most Indians simply don't eat beef, so even if it were legal, it wouldn't be popular. It's a perfect example of how a global brand adapts to local rules. In a country of over 1 billion people, the world's most famous burger had to take a back seat, and something entirely new took its place. They seem innocent, tiny, nutty, and sprinkled on bagels. But in Singapore, poppy seeds are a controlled substance. Why? Because they can contain trace amounts of opiates. Even these small levels are enough to trigger positive drug tests, which Singapore takes very seriously. The country is known for its zero-tolerance drug policy, and that extends to anything that could resemble illegal substances. You can't import or sell poppy seeds without government approval. That means no poppy seed muffins, bagels, or pastries on your breakfast plate. Travelers have even been questioned for bringing in foods sprinkled with them. To the rest of the world, poppy seeds are just a crunchy topping. In Singapore, they raise red flags. It's one of those unexpected bans that surprises people, but in a country where cleanliness and order rule, even your sandwich garnish has to play by the rules. Casu marzu isn't just cheese, it's a legend. Found only in Sardinia, Italy, this soft, creamy pecorino isn't aged the usual way. Instead, it's taken a step further, fermented with live insect larvae. Yes, live. The result is a cheese that's so soft it practically melts, but it comes with one major problem. The maggots are still wriggling inside when it's served. To fans, that's part of the charm. To the European Union, that's a major food safety violation. Casu marzu has been officially banned under EU health regulations, with the live larvae and fermentation process considered unsanitary and potentially dangerous. Still, it's not gone. Locals in Sardinia continue to make and eat it, often illegally, treating it as a proud culinary tradition. Tourists hunt for it like it's a secret treasure, and some even claim it's an aphrodisiac. It's one of the rare foods banned in a region that created it, simply because it crosses a line between old-world tradition and modern food laws. Who would have thought candy could end up in court? That's exactly what happened in Sweden, where M&Ms were pulled from shelves. Not for health reasons, but because of a legal battle. The issue? A Swedish candy brand called Marabou had been selling M-Peanut for decades, with packaging that looks strikingly similar to M&Ms. When Mars introduced its famous candy to the Swedish market, Marabou sued, claiming the lowercase m on both brands would confuse consumers, and the Swedish court agreed. In 2016, Mars lost the case and had to stop selling M&Ms under that logo. The product wasn't banned outright, but it was blocked from stores unless rebranded. Mars later returned with a modified design to meet the court's ruling. It's one of the rare cases where candy was pulled not because of what's inside the package, but what's on it. In the end, it wasn't about taste. It was about trademarks, chocolate pride, and protecting what the Swedes saw as their version of a classic. In most countries, ketchup is a lunchroom staple, a red squeeze of comfort next to fries or burgers. But in France, it was declared a culinary enemy in school cafeterias. In 2011, the French government restricted the use of ketchup in public school meals to protect traditional French cuisine. The rule doesn't outlaw ketchup completely, but limits it to one specific day per week, and only alongside French fries. The idea was simple: preserve national food identity, and teach kids to appreciate their culinary heritage, not drown everything in red sauce. Dishes like ratatouille, roast chicken, or gratin deserve to be tasted, not masked. This move sparked debate. Critics said it was over the top, but others praised the focus on mindful eating. In a country where food is treated as art, ketchup was seen as lazy seasoning. And honestly, it's very French. banning a global condiment to protect the flavor of a well-crafted bechamel or Dijon mustard. Mountain Dew is bright, sweet, and a go-to drink for gamers and late-night snackers. But some versions of it aren't allowed everywhere. For years, the original formula contained brominated vegetable oil or BVO, an additive used to keep citrus flavoring from separating. The problem? BVO has pressure. Mountain Dew's neon glow might still light up shelves, just with fewer chemicals under the cap. Beluga caviar is the stuff of luxury. Silky black pearls harvested from the mighty beluga sturgeon. It's one of the most expensive delicacies in the world, served in the fanciest hotels and at tables of the super rich. But in the United States, it's banned. Not because of price or taste, but because of the fish itself. The beluga sturgeon, native to the Caspian Sea, is considered critically endangered. In an effort to protect it, the U.S. placed a ban on the import of beluga caviar to stop overfishing and black market trade. That ban has been in effect since 2005 and it's still going strong. Other types of caviar, like ossetra or sevruga, are allowed, but the crown jewel of them all is off limits. Some farms in the U.S. have tried to raise beluga sturgeon domestically, but even those efforts are tightly controlled. So if you're in the U.S. and craving the richest roe money can buy, you'll have to settle for second best. Or fly to Europe with a deep wallet and a silver spoon. Shark fin soup has long been a status symbol in parts of East Asia, often served at weddings and banquets. But in much of the Western world, it's disappearing. Fast. The fins themselves aren't just rare, they've become controversial. In several U.S. states, including California and New York, selling or even possessing shark fins is illegal. Canada and all of the European Union have also banned the practice. The concern? Sustainability. Sharks are apex predators essential to ocean ecosystems, and many species are in sharp decline. The finning process, where fins are removed and the rest of the shark discarded, raised global outcry. That led to sweeping laws to shut down trade, even if some places still allow the dish under certain conditions. These bans don't stop all imports, enforcement varies. But the message is clear: when it comes to endangered species, no delicacy is worth the risk. The fin may once have been a delicacy, but now it's more likely to stir protest than prestige. Durian is known as the king of fruits, but in public spaces across Southeast Asia, it's treated more like a public nuisance. In countries like Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore, this spiky fruit isn't banned from being eaten, it's banned from being smelled. The odor is famously intense, a mix of onions, garlic, and dirty socks depending on who you ask, and it lingers like nothing else. That's why it's prohibited on subways, buses, taxis, and even in some hotels. You'll often see signs with a durian crossed out next to no smoking. Despite its reputation, locals love the fruit for its custard-like texture and sweet, rich taste. Tourists are often torn between curiosity and caution. One bite, and you're either hooked or running in the other direction. The bans don't come from food safety, just public comfort. When a snack can clear an elevator or make a taxi driver pull over, you know it's earned its reputation. Few dishes carry more mystery, or controversy, than monkey brains. Often whispered about in travel tales or shown in old adventure films, this dish has long crossed into urban legend territory. But here's the real story. Monkey brains have been banned virtually everywhere. The reasons are clear. First, there's the major risk of zoonotic diseases, infections that can jump from animals to humans. Second, there's the ethical issue. Many countries, including those where this dish may have once been consumed, now outlaw it due to animal welfare laws and health standards. Today, it's not just banned, it's socially unacceptable and closely monitored by international wildlife protection groups. That hasn't stopped the rumors though, it still pops up in stories and documentaries, adding to its myth-like status. Whether it was ever widely eaten is debatable. Fugu is one of the most daring dishes in the world. This Japanese delicacy, made from the meat of a pufferfish, can be fatally poisonous if not prepared just right. Its organs contain a powerful neurotoxin, which is why in Japan only specially trained and licensed chefs are allowed to serve it. But in the European Union, it's mostly off the table. Due to strict food safety regulations, the sale of fugu is banned or tightly regulated in many EU countries. Importing it is extremely difficult, and even licensed restaurants must follow intense procedures. The risk simply outweighs the reward in the eyes of European regulators. Unlike sushi or ramen, fugu never made it into the mainstream over there. It's one of the few foods that balances on the edge of danger and luxury, and for much of the Western world, that's a gamble not worth taking. Even in Japan, chefs must train for years before being certified. One wrong cut, and dinner could turn into a news story. Cheese lovers might be surprised to learn that some of the world's most prized cheeses are illegal in certain countries, not because they're rare, but because they're made with raw milk. In Australia and Canada, many traditional unpasteurized cheeses like Roquefort and Brie de Meaux are banned or severely restricted. The concern is bacteria. Unpasteurized milk can carry harmful pathogens if not handled properly. But fans argue that these cheeses offer unmatched flavor, depth, and cultural authenticity. Europe defends raw milk cheese as a centuries-old art form. In contrast, countries like Australia demand strict pasteurization for safety. Canada too has tight rules, only allowing specific aged raw milk cheeses to be sold. This means foodies often go abroad or search specialty shops for the real thing. In a world of artisan foods, these cheeses have become underground legends in countries where they're forbidden. It's the same wheel of cheese, but the laws change everything. Samosas, those golden, crispy triangles filled with spicy potatoes or meat, are a street food favorite across South Asia and the Middle East. But in Somalia, they were once banned, not because of their ingredients, but because of their shape. In areas controlled by the militant group Al-Shabaab, samosas were considered suspicious due to their triangular form, which they claimed resembled Christian symbols. It sounds strange, but the ban was enforced harshly during their rule in parts of the country. Vendors were stopped from making or selling them, and public consumption was heavily discouraged. Outside these areas, samosas remained beloved and widely available, especially during Ramadan. But in zones where the ban took hold, the snack became a symbol of absurd restrictions. In a place where food culture is rich and diverse, banning a pastry over its geometry showed how ideology can reshape even the smallest corner of daily life. Thankfully, in much of Somalia today, the samosa is back, just as crunchy and flavorful as ever. Foie gras, rich, buttery, and controversial. This French delicacy is made by fattening the liver of ducks or geese through force feeding, a process that has sparked fierce debate around the world. In India, the dish is fully banned. The government prohibits both its production and import, citing animal welfare concerns. Meanwhile, in the United States, cities like New York and Chicago have also passed foie gras bans, making headlines and dividing food lovers. Supporters of the ban say it's a step toward more humane treatment of animals. Chefs argue it's an attack on culinary tradition. The result? A tug-of-war between ethics and fine dining. Some restaurants try to get around the rules with loopholes or substitutes, but the real stuff, authentic French foie gras, remains off the menu in several places. In countries where the dish is still legal, it's served with pride. Elsewhere, it's become a symbol of how even the fanciest foods can come under fire when public values shift. In many parts of the world, horse meat is considered just another protein. But in the United States, the idea is nearly unthinkable. And in many states, it's completely banned. There's no federal law prohibiting it outright, but slaughtering horses for human consumption is illegal in several states, and federal restrictions on inspection funding make it nearly impossible to process legally. Cultural reasons drive the resistance. Americans view horses more like pets than livestock. Over in the United Kingdom, the sale of horse meat isn't banned, but it's extremely rare and heavily stigmatized. Most supermarkets don't carry it, and if they do, it's clearly labeled. The infamous horse meat scandal of 2013, where horse meat was found in products labeled as beef across Europe, only deepened public distrust. While horse meat is enjoyed in places like France, Kazakhstan, and parts of Asia, in the United States and United Kingdom, it's taboo. Not because of health, but because of how people view the animal itself. Haggis is a Scottish national treasure, a hearty mix of sheep's heart, liver, and lungs mixed with oats and spices, all packed into a sheep's stomach. It's traditional, iconic, and banned in the United States. The reason? Sheep lungs. United States food safety laws prohibit the sale of any product containing lung tissue, citing concerns over possible contamination during slaughter. That one ingredient is enough to keep authentic haggis off American shelves. Since 1971, it's been illegal to import the real version from Scotland, which has frustrated Scottish Americans and fans of international cuisine alike. Domestic versions exist, made with alternate recipes, but purists say it's not the same without the original organ lineup. Ironically, while it's banned for health reasons, haggis is eaten without issue in the United Kingdom and other countries. In the United States, it's become a food curiosity, more talked about than tasted. A dish rich in history, sidelined by a single regulation. Black pudding might look like a simple sausage, but this dark, rich delicacy is made with a key ingredient that's banned in several parts of the world. Blood. Specifically, pig's blood. In countries across the Middle East where Islamic dietary laws are observed, black pudding is strictly off-limits. Pork is considered haram, or forbidden, under Islamic law, and so are blood-based dishes in general. That makes black pudding a double no. Even in places where pork is available for non-Muslims, you won't find this traditional British and Irish breakfast staple on store shelves or restaurant menus. In the United Kingdom, it's part of a full English breakfast, often served alongside eggs and toast. But in Saudi Arabia, Iran, or the UAE, just the name would raise eyebrows. It's not about the taste or safety, it's a cultural line that can't be crossed. That said, there are blood sausages in other cultures, made from beef or poultry, but they're carefully regulated. For many, black pudding is a comfort food. In other parts of the world, it's a cultural clash in a casing. That's about it. What foods would you like to ban? Write in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.